Welcome to another episode of the Players Corner. Today's guest comes from Boxford, Massachusetts, and she attended the Pingree School. This past season, she started 15 games for Indiana, where she posted a 1.18 goals against average and a 763 save percentage with five shutouts. She earned Big Ten Freshman of the Week twice, notably after wins over number 12 Iowa and number 7 Michigan. Along with a spot on the Big Ten freshman team, she helped the Hoosiers return to the Big Ten tournament for the first time since 2021. Please welcome to the Players Corner, Sadie Canelli.
Alrighty, so we are going to jump into our questions, and the first question is kind of the player's least favorite questions, but it is, can you describe yourself without mentioning field hockey?
Um, oh gosh. I would say like I'm just like a mix of everything. Like I besides field hockey, I just like to do as many things as I can. Like I like to say like when people like I'm talking to people, I'm like I like to like know how to do everything just a little bit where I can say I know how to do it, but not be good at it. Like I just have like a lot of hobbies and stuff. Um, like I play the guitar, like I love art, like stuff like that. So I just a very diverse person, I would say.
So this is a pretty basic question, but what is your major?
I'm a math major.
All right, so now we're going to jump into your past season at Indiana. So, a lot of players and parents are kind of afraid of the transfer portal as a concept. And this season, going into Indiana, there was only one other goalkeeper on the roster who was a grad transfer. Were you worried going into preseason knowing that you had a grad transfer to compete with for minutes?
Um, Honestly, no. I was kind of in a unique situation. I went into the year planning to redshirt. So I was just like going in and I was like just ready to like support the other two goalies, Arabella and Brooke, that were there. Um, and I'm very fortunate to like been able to play, but I was just excited to like ma have new goalie friends, honestly.
During preseason, a lot of teams do off-field bonding activities. Did you guys do any before the season started? And if so, what was your favorite?
We did. Oh gosh. Okay, so there's this place near Bloomington. It's called Bradford Woods. Me and my team, like we joke about it all the time. We're like, Please let us go back to Bradford Woods next year." But it's like there's just a bunch of like activities in the woods. Like there's cabins and like there's two cabins and like we split into two groups and like stayed in the cabins. And there was three teams and we did just a bunch of like activities like climbing a huge thing together and like picking up the most trash for points and like stuff like that. And like we ran like a team 5K in the woods. And it was like it was just such a unique experience. Like in the moment we were like, oh, I don't want to run a 5K, but there's so many jokes that we have about it now, and it was just the most fun thing ever. And then we do like a team boat trip every year, which is very fun, but Bradford Woods was definitely the top.
So, since your school is located in Indiana, which you know is such a hotbed for field hockey, um, there's not a lot of schools located near you. So, you guys had a couple of overnights this past season. What's one of your favorite memories from an overnight trip this year?
Oh gosh. So our one of our things is like we try not to eat like a ton of like sweets or something before a game just so we can like get to bed early. And before we went to Iowa at the hotel, they laid out like cookies and like drinks for us and stuff. And after the team dinner, we all like grabbed them and our coaches sent like winners get cookies, like don't eat the cookies yet. And someone sent in like our team group chat a picture of one of our teammates, Meredith, like eating the cookie with like a sticker of like the text like before the game. And we send that around all the time, like after like wins and stuff. And it was just like the funniest.
I love that. So Allison and I always talk about how we think the Big Ten is like one of the hardest conferences to play in, especially because there's so many like talented players and any team can win on any given day. What do you think makes the Big Ten so competitive?
I think like that was a good explanation. Like, regardless of like where you're ranked in the Big Ten, like the competition is always great. Like you can't go into any game being like, oh, this is gonna be a blowout or oh, we're gonna lose like badly. Like we played we weren't ranked super high in the beginning and we played Northwestern. It was just a 1-0 loss. Which I think it was just like a really it's so fun being such a in such a competitive league. It makes the play so much better.
So Indiana is not typically on kind of the top end of the Big Ten. But this year you guys went 50-50 in conference, and most of your games were were pretty close. What do you think made the team do so well this past year season?
I think in the years leading up to me being here, they've done a lot of like team more just like team building, and we've come to a point where the team culture is like it's just amazing. Like we all love each other. It's like playing with like your family. And I think that's like a big part is that we're not afraid to like tell each other, hey, like you're doing this or you're doing this. Like it's just like being with your family, like no one takes it personal and it makes it so much easier to like be a team.
So Cindy Keld is like such an impressive defender. Like I've loved watching her at Indiana over the past few years. And she's such like an anchor in the backfield. What is it like knowing you have her and Yip Van Wonderen in your backfield to like help support you?
It honestly made all the difference. Like something I've like talked about with like my coaches is like more like risk taking, and I know that like I can kind of push myself to like take more risks and be more aggressive because I know that like they're always coming back to help me, and like Sydney is the amount of defensive saves she has made in her career is crazy. Like I know like I could completely miss a ball and she'll just be there like with her stick like ready to Superman save it out of the air. Um so yeah, like having like that strong defensive line has like been a big help for me.
So this year you got named as the Defensive National Player of the Week by the NFHCA after the week that you guys won against Iowa and Monmouth, which I think both of them would have been ranked that week. Don't quote me on that. Um, so how were players notified that you won the award, and then what was your reaction when you were told?
So we found out at practice. We were in like a little huddle after a drill, and Kayla, our coach, kind of was like, congrats to Maincha, my other like another freshman who won freshman of the week. They're like, congrats, but we also have like another award. And then she said it, and everyone was just kind of like sitting there for a sec. And then I found that I pulled it up on Spidio, like we record all our practices, and it's just the cutest video. Like everyone's coming over and like patting me on the head, and it's just like a big group hug. It was the cutest thing. But it was great to like find out like with all my team because obviously like they play a big role in it too. So it was very fun.
So this season, Indiana defeated number 7 Michigan and then number 12 Iowa, and then you also took number 3 Ohio State to shootouts. What is the mindset going into these ranked matchups, knowing you're facing someone who is like can be pretty high in the rankings?
I think like just going back to like the competitiveness of the Big Ten, like we know that we're all there for a reason. Like we all have it in us. Like if we play our game, like it kind of makes it a lot easier to not think about the rankings as much. And also going in as an underdog, I feel like honestly, like mentally, it's not, I don't want to say like a cop out, but like we just knew that like it wasn't an excuse to lose. Like we still like had to win those important games to keep like building as a program. So that was definitely a big part of it.
Do you or you and your team, do
Sorry.
you prepare differently for games if the opponent's ranked versus not ranked, or does that like just not matter?
I don't think we kind of like do the same thing. Like even like as a team, like our heart rate spike, we do the same thing before every game. But like individually, like everyone, it's so weird. Everyone prepares like so differently for games. Like some people just like sit in their lockers with their headphones on, and some people are up and dancing around, and it's just like such a fun environment.
Heading into the Big Ten tournament, Idaho, Indiana became ranked for the first time this season at number 19. Were you surprised when this happened?
Um, Honestly, like I guess a little just because like I don't know. It was like kind of weird to like be getting recognition as a team, but we were all very grateful because we had been working like so hard, and like the season before that in the spring, like they just had like such a hard like work schedule, and like they had worked so hard to like get to that spot. So it's just like a very grateful moment for us.
So Indiana returned to the Big Ten tournament for the first time since 2021 this season, earning the number 6 seed. What was the team's reaction when you learned that you were going to the tournament?
We were ecstatic. Like it was just such like we kind of like not we didn't know because like there's like a lot of upsets towards the end of the season. So like it kind of made it difficult. We we have to like win every game and like just focus on like the next game, the next play, whatever. But it was the locker room was like it was crazy. We were so excited.
So you find out you're going to the tournament, and then you find out you were matched up with Michigan in the Big Ten quarterfinals, a team that you had beat earlier in the season. What was kind of the mindset going into that, knowing you had faced them not that long ago and you had beat them once before?
It was just kind of we were just like do what we always do. Like nothing's different about this game or this team. Just like do what we had done before. And obviously the result wasn't exactly what we had hoped, but it was still like a great game, a great showing. We just kind of played how Indiana feel like he plays, and yeah.
So during that game, it was 1-0 for a majority of the game until Sydney scored with a little over a minute remaining to force overtime. What was kind of your emotions throughout that game?
Um, Honestly, I kind of blacked out that whole game. I was just I honestly I think I might have had my eyes closed when Sydney scored. I was so nervous, but just like I don't know, like I don't really get super nervous during games just because like it's kind of like this is what you've prepared for. Like there's no time to be nervous, but definitely when I was standing on the sideline and they called the corner, I was like kind of like peeking out of my hand a little bit. I was like, please, 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 like yeah.
So what do you think was the biggest thing that you learned from your first season?
Um, Something that my goalie coach told me, Sasha, she just said, be a goldfish, which is like super cliche, but it's true. Like, you're gonna make mistakes, like everyone does, it's inevitable, but like, you also are gonna have so many like highs of your career, and those are the things you want to focus on and like keep striving towards. So like, if you miss a save in practice or like miss a pass, like, no one's gonna remember that, but you're gonna remember how you feel like when you win a big game or like make a good play. So, that's definitely something that I'll take with me my next 3 years.
I really like that. I think it also like applies outside of hockey too, which is cool. And then our last question before we get to the fun questions is, what are you looking forward to most next season with Indiana?
Oh, oh gosh. Probably the conference games again. Like those are just like all the games are super competitive that we play, but something about like playing like the Big Ten teams are just they're so fun, they're so competitive. It's just like a different kind of level. Um, and we get so pumped for them too. So yeah, I'm just excited to play games again.
All right. So now these we are going to the fun questions, even though all questions have been fun. So we ask this to everybody because we are big readers here on the Players Corner. Do you have a current read, or if you're not reading, a show that you're binge watching?
Oh gosh. Okay. Um, Me and my roommate and some of our other teammates have been watching Love is Blind, the new season. Very interesting. I am a big reader. I haven't been able to read as much recently, but I'm reading The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn right now. I bought it when I was home because I've always wanted to read it. Um, yeah, and then I always am just watching Criminal Minds, like rewatching. I love that show so much.
All right. Do you drink coffee?
I don't know.
Okay, so what's your favorite drink that's not coffee?
Before every game, you can always trust that I will have a lemon elation or a mint or like any type of yerba mate in my hand most of the time,
I feel like
actually.
we've had a couple of non-coffee drinkers in a row.
Mhm.
Like, I'm a little impressed.
Do you
Yeah.
have any game day superstitions?
Uh, I have a lot. Like it's hard to keep track of them sometimes. Like when I get on the field, like I know like I do certain things. Like we won the Miami Ohio game. Like it was just like a fun game to play. It was like the first game that I played in, and Larry, the senior goalkeeper, like I put my kicker on before I put like on my like the over pants that I put on like over like the protective pants, and she was like pants, like she always has to say that. So now before every game, like I put my kicker on first and then I put on my pants. And then me like we always have to like go on the other side of the field and cross the halfway line and then take a step on with our left foot and like walk across with our goalie bags. Like it's just such like little things that I don't even think about, but like I know that I do. But yeah, I'm very superstitious.
Do you have a favorite teammate to room with?
Um, yeah, I do. I have to say Javi Baeza, because we roomed together a couple times, and every time it was just so funny. Like the vibes were always so fun. Because I lived with her over the summer because we moved here over the summer. So it's just like every time I'm with her, it's just like we're always so like in such a silly mood.
What is your pregame meal?
Um, every game day, we always go to this little restaurant in Bloomington. It's called Runcible Spoon. And it depends because Fridays they have different menus than Sundays. Um, but I either get like an omelet or just like eggs and toast because I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat meat, but they do have good vegetarian options as well.
Other than of course field hockey, what is your favorite sport to attend games for at Indiana?
Water polo for sure. Yeah, my one of my suite mates is a water polo player, and I love watching water polo. Like it's so fun and it's so incredibly hard to like I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've watched a couple of water polo games because a friend of mine used to play, and I feel like I would have drowned like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
first minute of the game.
And they're so aggressive too. Like they try to drown each other. Like that would freak me out.
Yeah. It's a very fun sport to watch, but also very like concerning.
Yeah.
And they have to have like crazy upper body strength to like be
I
able to do
know.
all that.
I know. It's absurd. I can't even.
Do you have a favorite restaurant or cafe in Bloomington?
Ooh, that's a good question. There's the fifth year goalkeeper transfer Brooke. She's gluten free, and there's this really small gluten free cafe called the Brightside Cafe, and everything is gluten free, and but it's so good. Like the drinks are really good, the tea is really good. Like the food, you can't even tell there's no gluten in it. It's so good. So I would have to say Brightside Cafe.
All right, so that does it with us. Thank you so much, Sadie, for joining us. We have no clue who next week's guest is, but we'll probably post it on Instagram. See you guys next week.